Good morning, everyone. A story I heard about this girl in Bnei Brak, from a very religious family. And, a little girl, she didn't really know what her father does, and she never asked. But one day she was on the school bus with all of her friends, driving through Bnei Brak, and she sees her father outside. He's one of the people who works for the city, and he's wearing a hard hat and a special uniform, outside, and he's paving the roads. And she was embarrassed in front of her friends that her father is a road paver in the street. And she started to cry, and she came home, and she was very despondent and depressed that all her friends saw that her father just stands out there paving the roads. And this father sat his daughter down and said to his daughter, "Let me tell you what I do." He said, "I helped pave the roads from Bnei Brak to Yerushalayim, which allows people to get there faster and a smoother way. And many people are going from Bnei Brak to Yerushalayim to do various mitzvahs. So if I could cut off a few minutes from their travel time by making the road, paving it smoothly, that gives them a few more minutes to do a mitzvah when they get to Yerushalayim, wherever they're going. And we in our family get a part of every mitzvah that we help facilitate by paving that road." The former Supreme Court Justice, William Brennan Jr. once said, "There's no such thing as menial jobs. There are only menial attitudes." In this week's parsha, Moshe Rabbeinu begins by referencing various places throughout the 40 years in the journeys when he addresses the Jewish people. And Rashi says that he was actually rebuking them by mentioning locations where they sinned without specifying what the sin was, because we learn from Moshe Rabbeinu when you rebuke someone, do it in a sensitive way. He doesn't spell out their sin, he just refers to the location, reminding them of what they did. And one of the places he mentions is a place called Chatzeros. Now we all know the word Chatzer means a courtyard, so Chatzeros means courtyards. And refers to this place, and Rashi says, which sin did they commit in Chatzeros? So Rashi says it's referring to the sin of Korach, the rebellion of Korach. And the question is, what's the connection between the sin of Korach and courtyards? So yesterday, by the way, was the Yartzeit of Darizal, the famous 16th century Kabbalist. My daughter's in Tzfas this summer, and she told me thousands of people came to pray at the grave of Dari HaKadosh. And Darizal says something very beautiful. He revealed a lot of deep mystical ideas. And he says, we say in the Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbos, Tzadik Atama Yifrach. A righteous person will sprout like a date palm tree. So he says the last three letters of Tzadik Atama Yifrach is Kuf Reish Ches, which spells Korach. What's the connection between a tall date palm tree and Korach? So he says, look at the end of the verse. It says, B'chatzros Elokeinu Yafrichu. Where will the tall date palm tree grow tall? In the courtyards of our God. So he says, what's the idea? The message is, imagine a person says, I want to plant a palm tree in my house. That's not where it belongs in the courtyard. The idea is that God puts everything in its proper place. Korach didn't know his proper place. He said, I want to be Moshe Rabbeinu. I wanted to be Aaron the high priest. He didn't appreciate his location, his position. And therefore that was the sin of Korach. And that's why he's alluded to in the verse that says, a tall palm date tree can only grow in the courtyard. And the message is that every person is placed in the position that they need to be in life by God, and they're given the tools and the resources to fulfill their job. And we cause ourselves great troubles when we envy others' positions that we want to be what the next person is. That was the mistake of Korach. And that was the lesson of the sin of Korach, and that's why it's referred to as the place called Chatzeros, the courtyards. If God put you in the temple, you're in the temple. If you're in the courtyard, whatever your task is, that's what you should do. And the way you do it, the attitude you bring to it is what defines you, not the job you do. In our society, people always ask people right away, what's your name? The second question is, what do you do? Why is that so important? Because we define people what they do rather than the attitude they do it with. And one of the beautiful things when you go to Israel is, in Israel, it's our country, so we're the bus drivers, and we're the taxi drivers, and we're the policemen, and we're the firemen, and we're the street cleaners, and we're the garbage collectors, and we do everything. And a person is not defined by his job. Is he blue collar, white collar? It's the love and the joy he brings to the job, and the meaning and the devotion. And I told this story, but it's worth repeating. When I was in Israel 2 weeks ago, I was living on Agrippa Street. And it's right next to the shuk, so every day there's a lot of garbage coming out of the shuk. Thousands of boxes are all being unloaded with merchandise, with food for the shuk, and the garbage collectors are breaking down the boxes and putting it in these big machines that crush the boxes. And I would walk every day up and down Agrippas and see these garbage collectors, sometimes with kippas, with payas, with beers, and they're doing their job. And one day I saw something incredible. It was towards sunset, and I see a bunch of old people standing around one of the garbage collectors. So I went over to see what's going on. You know what was going on? This garbage collector, all day, as he's breaking down garbage, he would find good things that were thrown out by some of the shopkeepers, maybe second-day-old food, like a bag of rolls or a batch of bananas that were a little brown, and he was putting them all aside. And at the end of the day, he was opening up this box with lots of delicious food that he collected all day and put aside, and all these poor people, old men and old women, were coming with their carts, and he was filling up their carts with the food that he collected. I said, what kind of a holy garbage collector is this? Only in Israel, where when he goes to work, he's not just cleaning the streets of Jerusalem, which is a mitzvah in itself, but he's putting away food for poor people. It's not what we do, it's how we do it. Wherever God put us, do it the best way you can do it, and don't be envious of the next person, because that was the mistake of Korach.